Just woke up from a nap and had some chocolate, a lot of sugar. So, but I'm still tired. Tired and wired at the same time. It's an interesting feeling. And as you can hear, it's still raining. For like 4 days, it's been raining, so it's gray, it's gloomy. It's a whole mood, you know? And I'm feeling it. It's very melancholic. And that's bringing up melancholic memories for me, sad memories. And I'm allowing it to move through me. These memories and these feelings, I'm allowing it. And I'm not wallowing. I'm just acknowledging the reality, which is that a former version of me went through some pretty difficult things. That ultimately was all a blessing because I'm wiser, I'm stronger, and knowing what I know now, having the strength that I have now, having been through what I've been through, I can help others. And I can see things that others who haven't been through what I've been through might not be able to see. And I do see the writing on the wall. I see what's coming down the line in the very near future. And that is that a lot of people are going to be betrayed by people that they love and care for deeply, because the system is going to continue to put pressure on us and to divide us. And ultimately keep putting us in situations where we are made to choose between one thing and another. You know, do you want to get this jab or do you want to keep your job? You know, do you want to get this chip or do you want to keep your job? Do you want to be able to buy and sell? Well, you might need to start using this digital currency then. You know, there's going to be things that keep getting rolled out that if we don't participate and go along with it, these technologies, these mandates, these rules or laws that are coming, you know, if we don't participate, we don't go along with it, then we'll be cut off from our ability to socialize, to participate in the economy. You know, it will make everyday life harder. And so as we continue to move in that direction and the temperature keeps getting turned up and the tension gets greater, there will be more and more people dropping out of the system, and there will be more and more people choosing the system over their loved ones. More division, it's on its way. And I didn't lose anyone over what happened during the pandemic, but you know, I was betrayed. It felt like a deep betrayal by many people during one of the hardest times of my life. And what it came down to for me is that people were so caught up in running after money and pursuing careers and keeping up with the Joneses and going on vacation that they didn't have time for me. They had plenty of money to throw at me, but they had no time to offer me because all of their time was taken up and eaten up by this system that's actually feeding upon all of us. And one of the biggest betrayals I had of all was that I during a mental health crisis, went to stay with a friend who I thought was actually the safest person I could turn to. It was a person that I had known for my entire life since I was 10 years old. Okay, so I had known this person almost 30 years and considered this person like a sister. And she works in the mental health field. And I was having a mental health crisis. Okay. So she offered to bring me into her home as I was going through this, to have just a safe place to be, a refuge. Wonderful. That's so wonderful and kind and generous of her to do that. And I felt safe. I felt like I could trust her. And I ended up, getting on some pharmaceutical medications for depression and anxiety, and quickly spun out with side effects, horrendous side effects. I ended up getting hospitalized, and it just like spun further and further out of control because, the side effects of the medications, that was medicated too, and it was compounded. And I actually found myself in a situation where I was being abused in hospitals in every way, physically, psychologically. Horrible things went on. And I was all alone in this hospital. Nobody came to visit me. And I would call people. I would call my family. I would call my friends. I would tell them what was going on in this hospital, right? That I needed to get out, that I was getting worse, that these people were mistreating me. And no one would listen to me. No one would believe me. I was poo-pooed. I was put off. I must be exaggerating. I was treated like, well, obviously, your mental health is not. It's like, we can't listen to you, like, because you're not well. And this is the position a lot of people in mental hospitals find themselves in, because their very condition is one of being mentally unwell. So therefore, anything they say, people can just use the excuse, well, you're crazy. But the thing is like, my family and my friends knew I wasn't crazy, and they know I'm not a crazy person. But they were too busy. They were too busy to care. They put me off on other people. They put me off on the system. But where the real betrayal came in was that when I got out, I was so traumatized from the experience, and so damaged. I had an acquired brain injury because of the medication and the things that I had gone through in the system, that I no longer wanted to live. So I came out even worse. I came out of a mental hospital even worse than I went in. And I was speaking to my friend who was in the mental health field about this, and I was telling her the things that had happened, about my experience, about how I can't live like, I was brain damaged. Okay. So I was saying, I can't live like this, meaning in this condition, I can't live this way. I don't want to go on like this. I was just being honest. Okay. And what this person did is had me committed back to the hospital where I had just been, where I had been abused, where I had been made worse, where I had left in a condition of no longer wanting to live because I had what I had been through in there. And do you know why this person had me thrown back into that hospital? Because it's a rule, she said. I work for this system, and the rule is that if you say something to me like you don't want to go on living, then I can lose my job basically if I don't tell on you. So I got thrown back in, and that person never spoke to me again. That person has acted like I don't exist. And there's a lot of people who, after what I went through, have just washed their hands of me. They pretend that I have disappeared off the face of the earth. Now, I certainly haven't chased after any of them, because thank you for telling me who you are, but that was devastating to find out that that's who these people were. That at my worst, they didn't have time for me. And beyond that, they threw me away like a piece of garbage. And I'm not saying this because I feel sorry for myself. I'm saying I see the writing on the wall. Because this system is going to come between many people in the way that it came between me and many of my friends and my family members. Because people are addicted to this system. They're addicted to their comforts. Every bit of their life is entwined in the system, and because it's like not gonna be an easy position. It's gonna be a hard position to be put in for people, of course. Like all of these things you've worked your entire life for, someone's gonna come along and say, if you don't do this, if you don't fall in line, we're gonna take all this away from you. That's gonna happen to people. And many, many people are going to choose the system, and those who don't are going to be left out in the cold. Some of us quite literally without homes. And you see how people without homes get treated in this country. So I know my content, a little bit of it has been kind of dark lately and maybe pessimistic, but this is actually what's going on in the world. And it doesn't do anybody any good not to look at it and not to address it. It puts us in greater danger to pretend that it's not happening and that it's not coming. But that's what I'm thinking about today. And I know people feel it coming. People aren't stupid. People, you don't have to have already gone through something like that to know that that possibility is on its way for you. And most people have a limit. Some people have no limits. And they're the ones running the show, the sociopaths. So people with the good hearts, the strong hearts, godly people, this isn't the system for them. This isn't the system for us. And that's being revealed. And it's coming quickly. But so is Christ. So is Christ. Because the devil has overplayed his hand. With AI and deepfake technology, every day is Halloween now. Everybody's potentially in a costume or hiding behind a lie or an app or a filter, or maybe it's a hologram. It's perfect setup for darkness and deception. That's the world we're in right now. That's the system that we're enmeshed in. But the system that we are enmeshed in is at odds with life itself, is at odds with love and light and goodness. And that is what prevails. So take heart, because God's got you. It's scary. It's scary to step away, but we have to if we want to go on as free people, as free children of God. If we want to retain our souls and our sovereignty, it's time to cut the cord.